What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from The Quartering, and it looks like Twitch has a bit of a problem on their platform, a bit of a scandal, a bit of a salacious story dropped today after 16 former and current employees spoke to GameIndustry.biz and accused the platform of indifference to all sorts of terrible behavior, all the isms and mints that you could possibly think of. Now, Twitch itself, a lot of people, didn't cover the story, but one of their most famous mods was terminated for being a creep. One of their safety advisors thinks they're a deer. Twitch has an issue. Now, I do stream occasionally on Twitch just to hopefully meet new people and introduce them into YouTube here. For the most part, I've had a lot of criticisms for Twitch, in particular, some of their creators. Games urinalism website Kotaku reports that employees accuse Twitch to indifference of all sorts of spicy things. So, in a new report by GameIndustry.biz, well, then why are we reading Kotaku? Let's read the person that actually got the scoop, GameIndustry.biz. Twitch staff calls the company out over all sorts of indifference to all sorts of terrible things. When the games industry saw its most recent wave of claims take shape in June, it included dozens of claims against Twitch streamers. Twitch CEO Emmett Shear posted a memo he sent to staff about these claims on Twitter saying, "We support people coming forward, commend their bravery, and in doing so, and know there will be many others who have not. The gaming industry is not unlike others and will have to reckon with all sorts of ism words and terrible behavior that rewards certain people and disadvantages, even harms others. The status quo needs to change, blah, 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 blah." Shortly after that statement, former Twitch employee approached GameIndustry.biz to come forward with a claim of terrible behavior that Shear had referenced. Quote, "I've been hesitant for years to share my story and events that happened to me during my employment at Twitch," she said. "But with the recent events in their statement on Twitter, I feel compelled to share and speak out against their blatant lies that they, quote, create a safe community." I know this is probably shocking, but most of the time, the people that are talking about this type of thing, talking about toxicity and all the isms and things like that, they probably have a huge problem with it. And we saw this with Ubisoft and others. This employee made it clear that she had nothing to gain by coming forward, but felt it was important to hold Twitch accountable for their actions and lack thereof. Quote, "Twitch repeatedly swept accounts of harassment and bad behavior under the rug, verbal and physical bad behavior, and other isms, and not just my own. It took place in the office, at events, in meetings, and behind closed doors. It was rampant and unavoidable. We heard about it in the halls. We saw it at our desks. It was overt and part of the job. In the months since, we have spoken with 16 Twitch employees from every era of the company, dating back to when it was just in TV. A few said they never saw anything of the sort with their time with the company. Most of them had stories confirming aspects of the employees' original claims. When we told Twitch what we'd heard from their employees, a spokesperson for the company replied, quote, "We take claims of this nature extremely seriously, whether on our service or within the company, and work swiftly to investigate and address them as appropriate." Isn't that funny? Ultra woke Twitch, Twitch, the company that still hasn't told us why they banned Dr. Disrespect, has a rampant problem inside their own walls. Who could have foreseen this? Normally it's a company that, talks like this that always ends up, isn't it crazy? Smash like if you think it's totally coincidental that these companies that virtue signal about all sorts of things often have the same sorts of problems. Now, to be fair, there is the issue that Twitch does hire a certain type of person, in my opinion, and that person may define these actions much more broadly than a normal person would, right? Like, we think opening the door for a woman is nice. They would say that it's mean and demeans women, that kind of stuff. Many of these claims are years old, and we've taken numerous steps to better protect and support our employees. No one there really took women seriously. One of the most common assertions we heard from employees that Twitch is not a welcoming environment for women, with one saying the company demonstrated an explicit tolerance for misogyny. It was a boys' club. Another woman said, working there's a definite bias, a definite sense that females and males were different. Well, they are. And females weren't given the same opportunities. They were prey. One early employee recalled an atmosphere of casual meanness towards women in the office that ranged from ignorance to outright misogyny. Another said it was common to hear women referred to as bees in the office. Well, okay. Future VP of Partnerships John Howell is well known inside and outside the company by his Twitter handle, John's Fat Piece. He changed the username as Twitch grew, but it was a known enough entity that someone re-registered in 2014 with the user profile explaining John went all corporate and left this legendary handle behind. 2014 was when Amazon Prime. Amazon was acquired by Twitch for nearly $1 billion. Despite our conversations with employees who worked at Twitch before, during, and after the acquisition made it clear that increased professionalism only helped so much, the people we spoke to within this article did so on the condition that we preserve their anonymity. Well, give me some examples. I mean, am I going to read 10,000 words of your setup here? Get on with it. Got a guy working on my flooring upstairs. I'm trying to put out my 5th video on a Thursday. I've been up since 6 a.m. I've quit smoking. Get on with it. The extent is not just the streamers. Women streamers' concerns were not taken seriously. One employee said, there were never any talk about should we make a formal system or tools of any kind to help them manage the constant meanness. There was an attitude in the office, especially among the partnerships team, that what do the Bob streamers expect? Well, what do they expect? This extended not just to streamers, but to Twitch employees. We heard accusations of victim blaming and downplaying serious offenses. Again, but none of these claims seem to be fleshed out. They all seem to be angry ex-employees who are, this is just like when they do the Crunch articles. Nobody there really took any responsibility for anything. There was nobody to go to if you were threatened or felt threatened or were harmed in some way. HR was not on the side of the employees, never is, for sure. They were on the side of the executive team. They always are. That was the sense. If you went to HR, that would ruin you even more. Yeah, that's an inconvenient truth. One person reported a Twitch manager for being mean behavior, and HR said they would speak to the manager about it. When we asked that if that was the end of it, they replied, well, it was not the end of it for me, but it was the end of it for HR. Not only did the bad behavior continue, but the person felt they were retaliated against for making the report, both by the manager and the company itself. Another person who made a formal report to HR said they were retaliated by the person they reported as well, both physically and verbally. In multiple cases, women said the men they reported were promoted after their reports. I'd seen many people go into HR. Ultimately, they would not resolve things in favor of the complainant. Well, evidence is a thing. They were not a source of support for employees. If anything, they worked to minimize the complaining person and their complaint. They were always in favor of and working for the person with the most power. Well, I'm sorry to tell you, but this is how all large companies work. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying, as somebody who has worked in many large corporations, HR doesn't give a crap about the employees. Another former HR employee from several years ago believed the department addressed complaints appropriately during their time with the company, but acknowledged that it had a pre-existing reputation for inaction. So are we writing up this hit piece from complaints from 10 years ago? Twitch has a woman problem, one employee told us. I don't know if there are enough people who would also see that Twitch as also a racial and ethnic minority problem as well. While we've heard fewer stories of overt bad behavior towards employees by their coworkers and managers, one employee saw a lack of diversity in the company contributing to a broader problem with prejudice of all kinds at Twitch on the platform. Historically, the decision makers have been predominantly white and male. Oh my God, the color of your skin does not indicate whether or not you will make correct decisions. So again, this is a non-issue. This complaint is not issue. Hate speech was dismissed as teenagers being edgy. Well, hate speech isn't a real thing. So, you know, what I'm getting out of the majority of this article, and you know, I'll give them the benefit of publishing this whole thing, and I'll let you read it. But it sounds like Twitch doesn't practice what they preach. That's a common SJW thing, but I mean, who that's for that's not for me to decide. That's for you who smashed the like button. And by the way, as we push to 1 million subscribers, I need you to subscribe today. There's a red subscribe button down below. I need 509 more subscribers today to stay on pace to hit 1 million by Christmas. The above incident took place at the internal Twitch party, but invite-only parties the company threw in public events like PAX and its own TwitchCon were notorious for their own right. As one employee described it, the mentality of Twitch was, we gotta throw ragers. Everyone's gotta have free booze and get drunk. Another called the celebration of excess. As recently as last year, the company felt comfortable distributing booze and putting open cups on the table for people to help themselves. I remember that uproar. I mean, again, personal responsibility. I know this is a crazy thing for a childlike mind that many of these people are, but if I see a cup, a table full of uncovered beers, and I'm a female, yeah, I'm probably not taking that. They should have had cans available, but nobody's forcing you to drink that either. You can make the decision to or not. I could also say, hey, I want to see you pour a new one right in front of me. These are all things that a normal person would handle normally, but it's a big deal because of Twitter. This article is very long, and doesn't exactly, it doesn't exactly look very good for Twitch. There's a lot of information here and a lot of demands about toxic culture and not caring about employees. And, well, who could be surprised? We'll have to see if this story picks up tomorrow or it's swept under the rug by all those esports reporters. I hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.